What's up, guys? It's Sky. I've got a Stamsorc build video for you guys today. It's this is a build I really like. I've been using like variants of it for a couple years now, but I've kind of refined it for this meta. Running like two-hand dizzy swing instead of I used to run it with dual-wield main bar, but can't really do that anymore. So I really like this build, and I'm just gonna share it with you guys, and then go over like how everything works together and how its passive healing stacks really nicely. So we're running Blood Spawn, which is kind of like our go-to stamina monster set. It's really strong. It's got a stamina recovery line, which is really nice. It gives us a ton of ultimate, and it gives us a ton of resistances, and it like barely has a cooldown. So, and then we're running Briarheart. Briarheart procs, it's a 25% proc chance when you deal critical damage, and it increases our weapon damage by 450 for 10 seconds, and then it gives us a cool little healing effect when we crit. This healing effect does not have a cooldown, which we will go over in a second. It is only every once 15 seconds when you can proc it, so the maximum of time you can get is 66%, but it works really good, and it times itself into our burst because we're running mechanical acuity. So this set, I've used it on my Stamplar. I think it's really good on Stamsorc too because of Hurricane and how powerful Hurricane can get when it really ramps up. And I really like mechanical acuity this patch. I think it's overlooked a lot. Critical hits it hits so hard and chunks people. A lot of people are running like squishier now, and they're trying to just build more and more for damage, and this set kind of directly counters that because not a lot of people are running like impreg and stuff anymore. And nobody bought into that critical riposte set they released that gives some crit resistance. So mechanical acuity can really chunk people. And then so we're front barring the Maul of mechanical acuity to kind of control its proc better. It's the opposite of my Stamplar build where we double barred mechanical acuity. In this case, we don't mind if Briarheart procs on our back bar because it's 10 seconds. But we do want to proc the mechanical acuity only on our front bar. So that for our back bar, we're running BRP dual wield. I'm running full impen pieces. I'm running 6 prismatic glyphs and 1 small stamina glyph. I just wanted to get to 19,000 magicka with tri-stat food, so that's why I did that. And then I'm running 2 infused jewelry because I was an idiot and made an infused New Moon Acolyte ring instead of an infused mechanical acuity ring, so I ended up with a robust one I had left over from my Stamplar build, but I don't recommend that. I recommend 3 infused with all weapon damage enchants. And then we're running a weapon damage enchant on our front bar. Nirnhond, of course. And our back bar, we're running Nirn Sharp. That's just because I use these dual-wield axe and dagger for different things. But I do recommend at least 1 Nirn or powered piece on your back bar just to help buff your vigor some more. We're also running brutality draining poisons, which give us minor brutality and inflict minor maim on our opponent. So, if you didn't want to buy or farm Briarheart, you could run New Moon here, but I do like the healing effect and how the healing effect doesn't have a cooldown with mechanical acuity. But New Moon does work pretty well for this build still. It's just New Moon is a really versatile set. And then for Monster Helms, you can run Troll King, you can run Baylorg. If you are going to min-max this build too, I recommend getting like a heavy mechanical acuity chest and a light mechanical acuity waist, and then running medium monster pieces and running 3 Briarheart still in medium, and just kind of doing something like that to get a little more resistances. I unfortunately wasn't able to do that because I'm not on the PTS today since the PTS is down, and I can't min-max the build right now. I'm very poor, as you can see. So what this build can do and offer is really cool actually. So when like our poisons proc and when our weapon damage enchants on our front bar procs and our Briarheart procs, see we have 6,000 weapon damage. And we have like 144 crit percent. It's basically mechanical acuity procs, and it adds 100% crit chance, so everything is critting all at once. So yeah, we have 6,000 weapon damage and everything crits. Like, that's insane. That is a ton of damage. So talking over skills real quick, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I like Camo Hunter. I also like bound armaments. They're kind of interchangeable to me. Um, yeah, I really like both of them. I haven't been able to decide, but I did know that I did want Ball of Lightning on my front bar just to kind of gap close and kite. So that's kind of why I'm running my skills like this. But just going over the front bar real quick. So we've got Rally. This is our burst heal and our source of major brutality. It also gives us minor endurance. It's a great tool for like any two-hander. You're going to have this skill equipped. We've got Ball of Lightning. This removes snares now, which is awesome. You don't want to spam it because it gets really expensive, and Magicka is a precious resource for like our dark deals and stuff, but it's still a really good skill to have, and it's great for kiting since it leaves a ball of lightning behind you that absorbs projectiles. It can even absorb meteors. It's insane. Then we got Dizzy Swing. This is our main spammable as well as kind of our stun. It also sets targets off balance. So it's not as good as it has been, but it's still the best burst skill for two-hander in the game. Executioner, this is our execute. This is a really nice skill to have. And then Bound Armaments. So Bound Armaments basically, once you use it, it lets you basically like light attack stuff. And so when we light attack, it gives us a little dagger that floats around us. You can see we've got 4, and then it makes the proc noise. And then we can throw our little daggers at someone. They don't hit super hard, but it is a nice little piece of burst. Also, it passively increases our stamina and our light attack damage, so it does add a good bit of damage that way. I'm running Dawnbreaker. You can also run Onslaught. Just personally, I've been preferring Dawnbreaker because it's undodgeable, and I feel like at this point people know how to counter Onslaught, and they just dodge roll like monkeys as soon as an Onslaught hits them, so I've been playing with Dawnbreaker a lot more. On our back bar, we're using Quick Cloak. This procs our major protection from BRP dual wield, and it also gives us major expedition. We're using Crit Surge. This is one of the many heals that we stack together, and it's something that procs pretty much constantly when it's mechanical acuity procs, and it gives us like huge healing. So it's, see, 3708 for a heal there, and Briarheart's hitting, and Unflinching Rage from our Orc is hitting, so it's just massive damage. You can see there it was a 5500 heal tick from Crit Surge, which means that it'll be 2700 in Cyrodiil, which is huge, and then you stack that with a Vigor, and it's crazy healing. So we run Dark Deal. This is like our main tool to sustain since our stam recovery is really low. You're going to pretty much use this at least probably every 10 to 15 seconds, but it gives us a ton of stamina recovery back. It gives us 2400 stamina over 20 seconds, which is the equivalent of, I think I did the math, and it was 200 stam recovery, and then 3600 stam instantly, and I did the math, and I think it came out to 560 total stam recovery if you were only casting it every 20 seconds. So that's a ton of stam recovery, and you're probably going to use it more than every 20 seconds. Hurricane, this gives us major ward and resolve. It also puts this, well, hurricane around us that does some damage, and it ramps up in damage as we go too. It can hit people pretty dang hard once it gets going, and once mechanical acuity procs, it's pretty good little passive damage there. It also makes Nightblades hate their life. Then we're running Vigor, of course, and I'm running Storm Atro back bar. Storm Atro is so we can get the where is it? Daedric Protection passive. That increases our health and stam recovery by 20%, so we have one on each bar ideally. One of the main reasons I've been kind of leaning towards Bound Armaments versus Camo Hunter is because of that. And then we also, Ball of Lightning gives us a nice little 2% weapon damage bonus on our front bar. So with Ball of Lightning and Bound Armaments, we get 4% total, and then we get 3% from Dawnbreaker because of the Slayer passive. And the weapon damage really adds up when everything procs on this build, and then everything becomes guaranteed critical hits for 5 seconds. And it's really nice, nice burst. I've really been enjoying it, and I like that it's a little different, because yeah, you could just run Fury and New Moon, like that works fine on a Stamsorc. I'm just kind of sick of Fury and New Moon, so I was running this and I really enjoyed it. So one last thing, just the orc racial passive I touched on it a second ago. Unflinching rage. When we deal damage with a weapon ability, we heal for 642 health. So when this passive combines with the crit surge procs, combines with the Briarheart heal, combines with our vigor ticks, combines with our health recovery is 1180, right? Like that's just so good. So much passive healing going on that you really like don't need to pay attention to. So now that we're on our character sheet, food, Mudus, consumables, I just used a tripod. I don't recommend tripods because we have so much magicka from using bewitched sugar skulls. So I usually run these essence of weapon crits that are crit health stam when I'm not running camo hunter, or I run these stam major savagery and CC immunity. I keep tripods around, of course, because sometimes you're just low on everything. You've been kiting for so long. It's nice to be able to completely refill your magicka, or almost completely. Invis pots for, I don't know, whatever trolley bullshit you want to do. And then detect pots, because once you pop a detect pot on an annoying Nightblade and then your Hurricane's pulling them out of stealth, it's a good time for you and not for them. So I'm an Orc. I really like Orc on Stamsorc, thus the name Skystork. So I'm, Skystork the Stamsorc Orc. What do you want to call it? I like the stam it gives me. I like the weapon damage it gives me. I really like the reduced cost of sprint and the movement speed increase in sprint. So like we're flying, man. We fly around on Stamsorc. We're the fastest thing in Cyrodiil, hands down, and that's kind of the point of the class. And it's so kitey. It's a really fun class and play style. And then I'm running the Warrior Mudus just for some more weapon damage and healing. Really nice to have, in my opinion. So, hop into CP here real quick. Starting the green tree, I want Run and Siphoner. This just kind of helps our debuffs and whatnot. It stacks more debuffs on our opponent. Therefore, if they're using a purge, it means that they can purge less actual harmful effects. I run 51 in Warlord for a 19% reduction in Break Free. I run 31 in Sprinter. This reduces our cost to sprint even more, so we can sprint even more since we are a Stamsorc Orc. Run 56 in Mooncraft for 12% increase in stam recovery, 27 tenacity for 7% increase in our that our heavy attacks restore as far as resources go, and then 9% increase in our health recovery. Just since we are running food that gives us health recovery, we can boost it up a little more. We want to make sure we get to 120 points in the Lover for the Windrunning passive. It's only 2%, but it increases our health and magicka recovery as well while sprinting. So like when we're doing our Orc thing and fly around, we get 1257 health recovery, 720 magicka recovery. It's a nice little buff there. And the 2%, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it does add up. Running 56 in a Tumbling for 20% reduced cost to roll dodge. Dodging is really important in Cyrodiil. It's one of our main defense tools. And then just 11 points in Shadow Ward for reduced cost to block. I'm running 27 in Bless for 7% increase to our healing done, 11 in Physical Weapon Expert. This stacks nicely with Bound Armaments and the light attack damage increase. It just makes our light attacks hit super hard, especially with the Butcher passive if they're below 25% health. 72 in Master at Arms for 23% direct damage increase. I am running 23 at Thom on this build for 10% increase to dot. This basically just increases the damage of our Hurricane. 56 in Precise Strikes for 20% increase to our critical damage. This is important to get this one pretty high since a lot of our damage comes from our Acuity Burst. 32 in the Piercing for 28-38 Pan. 49 in a Mighty for 11% physical damage done. 61 Ironclad for 21% reduction in damage taken. 18 in Spell Shield to buff our spell resistance. 52 in Resistant for some extra crit resistance, very important to have. The Lady will run in 34 Thick, 43 Hardy, 43 Ellie. This gives us a nice reduction of, most kinds of damage we'll encounter while we're PvPing. We want to make sure that we get to 120 points in this tree as well, so we can unlock the Break Free Unchained passive. It's a really good tool. You probably don't notice it a lot of the time, but it really does help with sustain. Quick recovery, we're running 19 for some more healing received, about 5%. So anyways, I've really been enjoying this build these last couple days. I feel like it can outkite anything. It feels really fast. It feels really tanky. Sustain, even though like it looks bad because we have low stam recovery from just running tri-stat food and being an orc instead of like a wood elf or a Khajiit or something that gets a stam recovery. I just really have been enjoying this build. So like I said, when everything gets going and procs, we just have so much damage and so much healing, so much passive healing. It's a really good combo. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this build. Let me know your thoughts. Feel free to join the Discord. We love theory crafting in there. That's kind of where we came up with the idea for this build. And we'll see you guys next time.